Joining me are James Ashby, Pauline Hanson's Chief of Staff, and Communications Consultant Christy McSweeney, who has worked for Coalition Prime Ministers and Premiers. Christy, obviously cost of living is easily the biggest topic for voters, but with inflation rising again, do you think immigration will become an even bigger issue this year than it was last year?
First of all, I think the Coalition has failed to connect those two things in a coherent centre-right economic message. James Patterson made some very, very sound points today on a number of issues on the ABC, but what he did point out was that energy, insurance costs and rents have all gone up between 22 and almost 40% over the last 2 years. The other thing we see around here in Melbourne and certainly in Sydney is infrastructure is taking far too long, is far too far over budget, and our cities are clogged through the populations that are drawing into them. Australia has some of the largest cities in the world per our population, much bigger than America's cities, minor ones in smaller states, and that is just a function of people pouring in to the East Coast. And I think Australians can see that, and the work for the Coalition is to put that into coherent economic policy that people can relate to. There's no doubt people are feeling the pressure and cost of living and the clogging of our cities, lack of housing and people paying more for rents and various other costs is certainly related.
What do you think, James Ashby? Are the times going to suit One Nation?
Well, I think what's happened here, as you know, Andrew, we've been saying for a very long time, there is a overquota of people coming into the country from overseas. Who can blame them? Like, we've got a fantastic country. But it's not those people coming here to blame, it's our politicians who haven't pulled the reins and said, we're going to stop this. Because we've known for a very long time there's been a housing crisis. We haven't kept up with the tradesmen and women that have been coming in to help build not just the homes, but it's also the infrastructure like hospitals, roads, you name it, nursing homes, aged care facilities, those things as well. So there's no doubt Australia is a great country, but we're losing that greatness and that, I guess, that quality of life as a result of poor decisions. And we know as more and more people come in, all that's doing is creating a greater supply and demand issue. The median house price now is almost $1 million. It doesn't matter where you're buying in the country. It can be a hovel somewhere in the middle of nowhere or some of the finest places in our capital cities. But the price is across the country now near $1 million. And it's locking people, young people in particular, those people particularly, let's just say in the service industries, whether it be hospitality or service in general, it's keeping them out of their own home, but it's keeping them in poverty because the rents continue to go up as well. And if you've been to an auction or you've been to a rental inspection, the lines of people are just growing. And sadly, a lot of them are migrants. Now, we can't tell migrants, don't come, you won't enjoy the experience when you come here to Australia, because so many of them think, oh, well, you're just trying to pretend there's something wrong in Australia. But so many more migrants who are arriving here now are saying, whoa, this is not the country, this is not the lifestyle we thought it would be. So it's not only ruining the experience for those people born here or who have migrated here permanently, it's ruining the experience for people who want to come here with those trade skills. We can't keep them. And to be quite honest with you, Andrew, the skilled workers this government say they're bringing in by the hundreds of thousands are not skilled at all. And that's the biggest problem we've got. They're not skilled.
Well, even those that are skilled.
It's a big bloody lie.
Well, as Bob Birrell has long pointed out, you know, we're told a lot of skilled workers, a lot of them don't end up working in skilled jobs. That's the problem. But what do you think, Christy? I mean, we see these astonishing poll numbers again this week for One Nation, except you've got people like Colin Boyce, the Nationals MP, saying, I'm not jumping over to One Nation because I don't think it's going to translate to votes for seats in the lower house. Do you think it's an ephemeral thing? Do you think people would actually vote that way when it comes to an election?
There's two reasons for this. One is the disaffected, very rusted on right-wing vote of the Coalition, who's very upset at the Coalition's chaos and many people upset at the direction. The Coalition struggling to find a narrative around things like immigration and around other issues that perhaps could appeal to people in the centre and people on the right. So they're working at cross purposes and they can't land a narrative to satisfy both factions. I don't think Colin Boyce woke up and said, I want to be leader of the National Party. The phrase stalking horse comes to mind. But we must remember that there's no pathway back to government for the coalition, whether they are together or apart as both parties, without winning major cities. And that means winning Melbourne and Sydney. And the threat to the coalition, or to the Liberal Party part of the coalition in the major cities, is not One Nation. The threat to the Liberal Party in the major cities certainly is Teals. And whilst all this conjecture around competing with One Nation, everybody has conveniently forgotten the seats where the pathway to government exists is in the contest between Liberal, Labor and the Teals. Some of our regional seats in the Liberal Party certainly are seeing a rise in One Nation. The seat of Forest, for example. Now, that used to be 15-20% seat, southwest corner of Western Australia. One Nation gained 8.7% of the vote in the last election. That's held by Ben Small, who jumped from the Senate to the lower house. The Independent, which was a teal green changing independent, gained 18% of the vote. And he gained a 12% swing against him. So the Liberal Party is also seeing it in some of our regional seats. But One Nation doesn't win a vote in the cities. That contest is between Liberals and Teals, and that is a pathway back to government. All this has done, I think, is exposed that the Liberal Party for many, many years has neglected to form a preference partner on their right flank. And in neglecting the potential of One Nation as a preference partner, they've sort of come to this position that they're in now as competitors between One Nation and the Nationals.
Well, I don't know. I just think the puff might be going out of the issues that the Teals feed on. We shall see about that. But, James, you're going to... I said last night that next week you're going to make a series of announcements that would put some more wind in your sails. Can you tell us more about them?
Oh, you're not getting the exclusive, Andrew. Come on. Nice try, though.
Oh,
look,
mate, I'm just asking you a little favour. A little favour.
I'll give you favours, but not today. Look, yeah, we are. We've been on a recruitment drive. There's no doubt about that. And, yeah, look, on Monday there will be a significant announcement. It will shock people just how significant this announcement will be. We are taking care of the serious issues while there's haggling and disunity within other parties on the right. What we need to do is we need to be the unofficial opposition as One Nation, and we are on that recruitment drive to just bring the talent that so many other people have said that we don't have as One Nation. I think we do. We've got them in the form of staff, but to just double down on that proof, what we have to do is bring the people with talent and put them on the front bench, being either star recruits or people who can win seats in our parliament, whether it be at a federal level or a state level. So there's a lot of big announcements coming, familiar faces, big names, and people that know these guys and ladies will certainly perform, and they'll perform with a hell of a lot of credibility. So I can't wait to bring that news to you next week.
Yeah, you need a financial heavyweight or two, and I suspect one of the candidates will nearly fit that bill. So we shall see. Be intriguing. Christy, Andrew Hastie and Angus Taylor, they're being attacked by the Prime Minister, by other Labor MPs, Labor mouthpieces, a few journalists, even some, by the way, leftist Liberals, for meeting in Melbourne on the way to Katie Allen's funeral today. Now, we're talking about two very busy guys, one from Perth, the other from Sydney, taking the chance to meet in the middle in Melbourne, well before the funeral. Do you share the supposed disgust with them?
Look, my objection to this is people will meet where they meet. And, of course, there was a senior political gathering at a similar event at somebody else's tragic funeral in Perth last week. And I'm led to believe there were some significant political discussions with everybody in the same place occurring there as well. Now, what I am upset about is that this opportunity was leaked out and somebody saw fit to leak it out to the press. It's not unusual for people to meet. Politics is a very fluid and dynamic, and I don't think that there is anyone sitting in Parliament today, Liberal or Labor, who perhaps would not have also caught up and spoke about issues with colleagues at an event that was very well attended by people from all over Australia. The failure is that someone from the inside saw to leak it out.
Yeah. I think that you're spot on there. James Ashby, I'm out of time, but I've got to ask you for another favour. I don't think I'll have any luck here. Susan Lee, Andrew Hastie, Angus Taylor, which of those would provide the most competition for your votes?
I think they all will. I really don't care who leads the Liberal Party nor the National Party. The enemy here is Labor and the Greens. We've got to work better together on the right, unite the right, I like to say. So, look, I think they're all reasonable people. I heard Barnaby Joyce say the same thing. I've got along well with all of them. There are some weaker, some more talented in that leadership list. However, that is not our call. This is a call for the Liberal Party. If they're to go forward, if they're to move forward, and I'll work with anyone. You've heard that. Our enemy is Labor and the Greens. My discipline is focused purely on them, not on the coalition. We want to see the back end of this terrible, disgraceful, economy-wrecking Labor government propped up by the Greens, and we'll do whatever it takes to do it.
Well, James Ashby, Christy McSweeney, thank you very much to you both. Really appreciate it.